Downtown Houston tonight, the Houston Astros hoping to clinch an American League West Division title, magic number 1. They will also try and win a season series against Tampa Bay for the first time since joining the American League. There is the magic number. There is no plan B tonight because the Mariners don't play, so the Astros have to win or they will have to carry that magic number into the weekend against the Oakland A's. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. Glad you could join us on what we hope is a clinch Thursday. Blummer, just need to get that W tonight.
Yeah, just win, baby. We've been talking about it long enough. I know those guys are tired about it. We're going to continue to talk about it until they get that win, but tonight's the night.
Important for the Astros not only to wrap up the division title, they would still like to have home field advantage in the ALDS. Tampa Bay wrapped up the 1 seed, and the Astros still with a lead, although it's shrinking against the White Sox for the 2 seed.
Yeah, because the White Sox are playing at home, and they have a tendency to win at home, that record well above 500. But when you get them on the road, they are sub 500, and that's why I think it's important for the Houston Astros to go out there and realize that they have the opportunity to win the West. Yes, that's going to be a great thing, but at the same time, if they can get a couple more wins and really solidify that home field advantage, that would really do them some benefits too.
Dusty Baker was asked about struggling if the team does struggle going into the postseason, how that might impact them. Last year, the team didn't play great going into the playoffs, and they certainly turned it around.
You can put me in the group of that group that said there's no such thing as a switch. But after watching what the Astros did last year, I think there is a switch. These guys have the experience. I think it's just a matter of them getting to the playoffs, and then they flip that switch. Everything goes right, and you can see the numbers really trending in the direction where they do play very good baseball in the postseason. And if you think about it, that back end of the bullpen for the Astros is a little bit better than it was last year.
Lance McCullers Jr., a guy who seems to like the spotlight, and he has been a guy who has pitched well against Tampa Bay the last couple of years.
It's his moment, isn't it? Dallas Keuchel's gone. Garrett Cole's gone. Justin Verlander didn't make it back this season. So this is Lance McCullers' opportunity to win on that big stage and clinch that game for the Houston Astros and establish himself as that number 1 guy in this rotation. A real opportunity against a team that he has great numbers against since last season. That 2.04 ERA, did a great job earlier this season in Tampa.
Lance McCullers on the mound tonight against his buddy Colin McHugh. Snapdragon 1 and Snapdragon 2. Julia Morales will join us with Blummer, talking about who might play center in the postseason.
Welcome back, Astros baseball, where the Astros are just 1 win away from grabbing the AL West title. 4 games left in the regular season. 4 lineups for Dusty Baker to ride out, including today's, which has Jake Myers in center field today, who's one of the best gloves, if not the best glove in the Astros organization. Then he's putting together a nice season offensively for the Astros minor leagues and majors. But he's sharing time with Jose Siri recently, and then, of course, Chas McCormick. So if the team can get it done, postseason talks are just around the corner. Who will be manning center field? So I'm going to bring in Jeff Blum to talk a little bit more about this in our Shiner Spotlight. When Miles Straw was traded, Blummer, there was an opportunity there. What have you seen play out since?
Well, it's been kind of interesting, and Jake Myers, that one guy you were talking about, has kind of played himself into that Straw situation, forcing him out. But Chas McCormick is that guy that broke with the Astros in spring training and kind of created his opportunity by having some success. So if you actually looked at it as far as experience, Chas McCormick has more experience, but Jake Myers, with that electricity that he brought in the minor leagues and the electricity he's brought to center field, has kind of put him in that mix and made this decision a little bit tougher for Dusty Baker, and it's probably a really good problem to have. But at the same time, you have a young center fielder going into the playoffs.
They are young, like you said. You mentioned experience, but not postseason experience. What are some of the things that you think Dusty Baker's looking for and the rest of the team are looking for when they figure out who is out there in center field?
Well, the center field spot is a tough position. You got to have somebody who has confidence out there that's able to call off their corner outfielders, make the play, take charge. And that's probably the biggest thing for me is knowing that you can have a guy out there that is fundamentally sound, is going to make the right decisions in some tough situations, because when panic starts to set in, you start to see where those fundamentals are. And I think that's where that tough decision for Dusty is. Who's going to be fundamentally sound?
Yep, postseason experience for the first time for both of these guys in front of crowds. Thank you so much, Blummer.
Thank you.
TK and Blummer on the call. Coming up from Minute Maid Park right here, we have Lance McCullers Jr. on the mound in a big game. He's ready to step up. We'll have more after this.
Houston Astros baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is presented by Blue Emu. Blue Emu Maximum Pain Relief, the official pain relief cream of Major League Baseball. And by Whataburger. The new Whataburger Hatch Green Chili Bacon Chicken Sandwiches are here for a limited time.
We are here at Minute Maid Park. Game 3 of this 3-game series between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Houston Astros, and it is going to be finished off by the electric right arm of Lance McCullers Jr., setting career highs this season in wins, starts, innings pitched, and strikeouts. You see 181 strikeouts in those 27 previous starts for Lance McCullers. That ERA is beautiful at 3.17. Looking to have an electric final start here in 2021.
Here's a lineup that McCullers will face tonight to wrap up this series with Tampa Bay. Brandon Lau will lead off, followed by Randy Arozarena. Wander Franco hits third. Nelson Cruz in the DH spot. Austin Meadows will be in left field. Manuel Margot in center. G-Man Choi bats seventh. Mike Zunino hit a couple of home runs in the postseason last year against Lance, bats eighth. And Joey Wendell will be at third base, and he'll bat ninth. The defense behind Lance McCullers Jr. Yordan Alvarez back in left field. Jake Myers gets the start in center field tonight. Kyle Tucker in right. Alex Bregman and Carlos Correa on the left side of the infield. Jose Altuve, Yuli Gurriel on the right side of the infield. And Martin Maldonado, another start behind the plate with Lance on the mound. Start number 117 on the year for Maldi. First pitch swinging is Brandon Lau, and he chops a two-hopper to Yuli Gurriel, and we're underway. One pitch and one out. A good way for McCullers to start this one. I'll bring up Randy Arozarena. Arozarena coming in at 272, a lead candidate for Rookie of the Year. Leads all AL rookies in runs, hits, on-base percentage, and OPS. Arozarena hitting a home run in Game 7 of the ALCS against Lance McCullers last year. Overall, he's 3 for 5 with that home run. There's a strike, says home plate umpire Will Little. It's 1-1. That 3.17 ERA that Lance started with is second in the American League if he qualifies today. Only needs 3 innings to qualify for the ERA title. He would be behind just Robbie Ray in the American League. Overall, Lance needs 5 2/3 innings to qualify for the rest of the season. He was behind Garrett Cole, but Cole had his ERA balloon after his last start, so Lance would currently be number 2 in the AL. There's a foul ball, stays 2-2. 28th start for McCullers, first time in his career at any level where he has picked up 28 starts in a season. He'll also go over his highest innings threshold in this outing. On the ground, Correa in the hole, has a long throw, and he beats Arozarena to the bag. Carlos Correa, another fine defensive play in this series.
Great job getting to the backhand side. Plant that right foot, come over the top, and unleash it. This will be a great view of the arm strength of Carlos Correa, throwing a strike over there to first base. Good job by Yuli on our Matches from Supermo, getting a good throw to stride out on and make sure that they get that out before Arozarena crosses that first base bag.
Lance always loves having his buddy Carlos Correa behind him defensively. Now here's Wander Franco. Franco takes a called strike. Franco playing his 67th game since being called up. Grounds one to the right side. This is a good start for Lance. 3 ground ball outs. Yuli taking 2 of them himself. And that's how this game starts, with a 1-2-3 first. Astros line up tonight as they look to clinch the American League West. Jose Altuve at the top. Alex Bregman hits 2. Yordan Alvarez in that 3 spot. Yuli Gurriel with that .317 average, followed by Kyle Tucker, Carlos Correa. Michael Brantley slots down in the 7 hole today. Jake Myers will play center field and bat 8th, and Martin Maldonado behind the plate.
Old friend Colin McHugh gets the start today. He will be the opener for Tampa Bay. 35 games he's pitched in this season. A 1.60 ERA, probably not one of the headlines as far as stories across major leagues, but he has had himself a phenomenal year with that 6-1 record. He even has a save on the season. And opponents against him this season hitting .209.
Quite a year for Colin. He got a little love from the fans here before the game on Tuesday when they opened up the series. A little video tribute, and now getting a start against his former mates. McHugh is so used to coming out of the bullpen now, even though he was a starter most of his career with the Astros until the last 2 years. He came out of the bullpen tonight to make the start. He'll face his former teammate Jose Altuve here. There's a called strike. Not a whole lot of at-bats for the Astros against Colin McHugh. In this lineup, Michael Brantley has 8. Martin Maldonado has 3. Nobody else has faced McHugh as Altuve hustles down the line, but the play is made by Franco, and there's one away.
Pitch usage for Colin McHugh against right-handed hitters. He's going to throw that slider 60% of the time. He'll show that fastball up when he needs to, but a lot of these pitches to right-handed hitters are going to be moving away. A little bit of a cutter. That slider's been hyper successful even to left-handed hitters, where he's basically splitting time between that slider and cutter to left-handed hitters.
Now facing Alex Bregman. Bregman, a 1-for-7 series. He's just missed hitting a couple of extra base hits. One down the line foul for a potential home run, and another for a double. Alex last night making a bid for 3 straight games with a home run after hitting one in the series opener on Tuesday. It's 2-0 to Bregman. When they had the Players Weekend jerseys a few years back, where you could put whatever you like, nicknames on the back of your uniform, in 2017, Lance McCullers had Snapdragon 1 and Colin McHugh wore Snapdragon 2. And here they are going head to head. Both guys wearing that because of their propensity for that curveball. Lance adding a slider now, and Colin delivers a slider to Alex Bregman, who pops it high in the air. Going out is Franco, coming in is Meadows. It's a left fielder who makes the play as Bregman retired for the second out. That'll bring up Yordan Alvarez. Alvarez coming in with those 32 home runs, leads Jose Altuve by 1 for the team lead. And a team leading 101 RBIs. Alvarez has been on 101 for a week now as he tries to add to that total before the season's over. Pitch from McHugh is down for a ball. McHugh has been as good as anybody in baseball really since April. His ERA of 0.79 since May the 4th. He is not only the best in the major leagues, it's the best by a pretty good margin. Aaron Loop of the Mets, the next closest at 107 for anybody with 30 innings or more. Colin came off that IL May 4th after last year opting out of the 2020 season, and he's been great this year. How about that little looper, Yordan Alvarez? A little soft serve single in the left field, and the Astros with their first hit in the first inning.
Take that, ball. Yordan Alvarez, notorious for hitting the baseball hard on our MD Anderson strike zone. You can see a little bit of a cutter up and in, and as he fights it off, and like TK said, just gently sets it out there in left field.
Took the Astros until the 6th inning on Tuesday and the 5th inning yesterday to find their first hit, so this is a big improvement tonight. I'll bring up Yuli Gurriel.
See that cut coming up and in and off the label of Yordan, strong enough to fight it over the third baseman's head.
Yuli Gurriel sends one to right field, hit pretty well. Arozarena, though, on the edge of the warning track, puts it away for the final out of the inning. One hit, one man left on base. We're through one scoreless.
Let's check out today's Chevy Stroll poll. Jump on Twitter, follow ATT Sportsnet SW. Which major league team has been the biggest surprise? This could be good or bad this season. We'll start with the bad. Minnesota Twins, last place in the Central. The Padres not going to the playoffs. The Giants with 104 wins, and the Mariners forgot how to lose. 18 wins in September, half game back in the wild card. Vote will reveal results a little bit later. Lance McCullers Jr. back to work here, having a great season. Remember, he broke out that slider to start 2021. That slider, Brent Strom, the pitching coach, telling me, and Colin as well, that was a direct result of information that they had collected on Colin McHugh's slider. A couple of guys who can really spin the ball there, but those two obviously have been really good friends for many years and have helped each other out over the years. So that slider was actually, picked up from Colin, but that thing's been moving through the Astros organization. I know you guys know that too. Several of those guys having that pitch, having success with that pitch. But Brent Strom saying, I love both of these guys, but I hope Lance comes out on top. We need a win. Okay.
Absolutely. They need a nickname for their slider now because they have the curveball down with the Snapdragon.
Yeah, you put me on the spot right there. I'm not ready. But I like that slider. I'm grateful for the fact that these guys played with each other long enough to be able to share that information, because it's been pretty wicked for both of them.
It was kind of a product also. There's a lot of connections in this game for that Lance McCullers slider. Not only is it derived from Colin McHugh, but it's also a derivation based on last postseason when Lance didn't get the righties out like he wanted to, and a few of them hit home runs against him in both the Oakland series and in the ALCS against Tampa Bay. Mike Zunino got him a couple of times, right-hand hitter Randy Arozarena, Manuel Margot, and Lance said, kind of got me thinking I might need another weapon against righties, and that slider has been brilliant this year.
Colin on the right, Lance on the left. Different arm angles, similar results. Yeah, it's been a real blessing for Lance McCullers to be able to add that to his mix.
Two-hopper to Alex Bregman. Bregman makes the play on Nelson Cruz. And Lance has 4 groundouts to start this game.
There's a slider right there. He got Nelson Cruz out in front, rolled him over.
Lance now with 157 2/3 innings. That matches his career high in a single season, which was reached 6 years ago in 2015. Austin Meadows will bat. Been a good year for Meadows overall. Leads the team in RBIs with 103. A little bit more of a struggle this month, coming in batting 207 in September over 18 games as he takes a strike. Meadows has never had a hit against McCullers, 0 for 8 with 3 strikeouts, and Lance gets ahead of him 0-2. Called third strike. Lance picks up his first strikeout, getting Meadows looking. 2 away in the inning.
As a hitter and you see this pitch and you're struck out on it, all you can do is tip your cap. It was a great pitch by Lance. Tough sequence for Meadows. Cutter, curveball down and in, and then backdoor curveball to put him away.
You can see why he would give up on that. And a great movement. Here's Manuel Margot. Margot showing bunt on the 1-0 pitch. And it misses. It's 2-0. Margot played left field last night, made a great catch in left center. Tonight he is in center field. Kiermaier would normally start against a right-hander, but Kiermaier has really struggled in his career against McCullers. 0 for 12 with 6 strikeouts, so Margot in there tonight. And Lance, who had thrown 14 of 19 strikes to the first 5 hitters, is falling behind Margot 3-0. Into center field, coming towards right now as it slices to Kyle Tucker as Margot is retired for the final out of the inning. 1-2-3 second as well. Colin McHugh in his time with the Houston Astros, 2014 to 2019, he's still top 5 all time in innings pitched here at Minute Maid Park. Added just 1 inning to that total tonight. Colin McHugh was a featured part of that rotation for a number of years, then moved to the bullpen his last couple of seasons with the Astros. But he pitched in a lot of big games in his Houston Astros career.
Just behind Dallas Keuchel in 2015 when Keuchel won that Cy Young. Colin had 19 wins. So he had some strong years and solid performances in that rotation and out of the bullpen for the Houston Astros as they made some of these playoff runs. A waiver claim.
How about that?
Worked out great.
Former Met.
Yep.
Claimed by the Astros, and the rest was history. So Ryan Yarbrough replaces Colin McHugh here in the second inning. We're going to talk a little more about Colin as you saw him depart for the Rays clubhouse. Julia, what do you have?
Yeah, just catching up with him was great. He's one of the good ones. And talking about that waiver claim, wow, that's taken us all back, right, to 2014. Strami was reminding me that was a spot start for him in Seattle. Astros fans may remember he came out of nowhere, really, and Strami asked him, I know you're a sinker slider guy. I want you to throw your 4-seam up, and I want you to throw your curveball. And the rest was really history. He struck out 11 that night. That was the first time I'd ever talked to him. I got to interview him after that game on the road, kind of one of those, hi, I'm Julia, great game, let's talk on camera. And then he was a big part of this team, the 19-win season, just very valuable to this organization. But catching up with him, obviously loved coming back here, catching up with all of his friends. Still very close with a lot of guys on this team. He says, I watch a ton of Astros games. Our games start earlier on the East Coast, especially when they're on the West Coast. I get to catch up with him. He said, I've seen Ryan Presley pitch 35 times this year. I've sent a lot of texts out. So, he's obviously happy for what the Astros are doing. He's rooting for a matchup in the postseason. He said, I hope they get that division clinch very soon. So he's part of the Astros family forever, but we wish him well in Tampa Bay.
Absolutely well said. Colin McHugh having a great year, and he added to that great season with a shutout inning tonight, and now he gives way to the lefty Ryan Yarbrough.
29 games this season for Yarbrough. 21 of them have been starts. He is the bulk guy. 114 strikeouts and 150 and a third innings pitched. Two and two the count to Tucker.
Yarbrough will face a couple of lefties in this inning. Nobody's pitched more innings than Yarbrough and that Tampa Bay Rays pitching staff. 21 starts and now 9 times as the bulk guy out of the bullpen. Tucker lines one over the head of Wander Franco into right center field. Tucker makes the turn. He'll get to second easily. Oh, Kyle Tucker with a double here to lead off the second inning.
Good swing by Kyle. Stayed on this slider. Looked like he was sitting on that outside corner. He gets around this one, but rifles it at 104.9 miles an hour to right center field. Kind of puts it in cruise control and gets into second base easily.
Team leading 37th double of the year for Kyle Tucker. That moves him from 8th in the AL to a tie for 5th. And that'll bring up Carlos Correa. Correa takes one for a strike. Carlos coming in at 277. Playing in game number 146. Carlos playing in more games and more innings than any other Astro for the second straight year. A couple of hits and 3 at bats in his career against Yarbrough. Yarbrough, a guy who normally doesn't give up a lot of hard contact, leads the American League again this year in average exit velocity. Just 84.7 on the exit velocity this season, but the home run has gotten him a little bit. That ball not a very hard exit velocity, as there's a little soft pop-up to Wander Franco for out number 1. How about one of these moments in Colin McHugh's career that we'll always remember? The Matrix.
That was unbelievable.
Jackie Robinson Day, Kendrys Morales hit it, and somehow McHugh got out of the way.
Yeah, the beard was a little bit tighter, but that was about it. Fortunately got out of the way. It was amazing.
Here's Michael Brantley. Brantley batting in the 7th spot for the first time since he was an Indian back in 2013. Dusty trying to give Michael a little bit of a soft landing after he batted him second last night just off the IL. Michael with good numbers against Yarbrough. He's 4 for 8 in the regular season against him. That includes 3 straight hits. Brantley back in the lineup last night after missing 16 games, and he was thrilled to pose for a picture with Julia.
That's his smile.
That is?
That's Michael Brantley's smile.
Wow. What'd you do?
Nothing. That's how Uncle Mike lives his life. Right there. Oh.
Not quite the same as Christian Javier. There's a swing and a miss at a breaking ball. Brantley goes down on strikes. Yarbrough has his first strikeout.
Three-quarter arm delivery. Michael's just a little bit out in front.
Well, I bring up Jake Myers. Myers in an 0 for 6 and 1 for 18. Came on defensively last night. Was hit by a pitch in his only plate appearance. And there's a strike. He'll never hit 90 miles an hour. 86, 87. Usually tops out the fastball.
Definitely a guy that relies on movement. Throws that cutter a ton. Also the changeup.
Yeah, movement and a little bit of that funk in his delivery helps create some soft contact over the years. According to StatCast, nobody in the American League's had a average exit velocity lower than Yarbrough since 2018. Year in and year out, he's near the lead. This year, he's on top of that leaderboard again. Myers didn't mean to, but the check swing foul ball puts him down on the count 1-2.
Yeah, the idea as a hitter is to try and see that baseball out of the hand as soon as you can, so it gives you a little bit more time to adjust to the pitch, whether it be velocity or spin. But with that delivery of Yarbrough, kind of that three-quarter arm delivery, kind of turns his back to the hitter also as he steps across his body, hides the ball for a long time, so you don't pick it up as quickly as you'd like. That's why even at 82 to 88 miles an hour, he can tie some hitters up.
Off the plate, it's 2-2. Yarbrough was born in Austin but grew up as a Rays fan in the Lakeland area in Florida. Kyle Tucker, a leadoff double, has not moved from second. Now a 2-2 count with 2 outs to Jake Myers. And a little shot into center field coming on Margot. He'll get there and put it away for the final out of the inning. Myers flies out. 1 hit, 1 man left on. We're scoreless heading into the third.
Get Out and Play is presented by Toyota. Go to last season as the Astros broke into the playoffs as that wild card team and took 2 from Minnesota and moved on. They won that wild card series, outscoring the Twins 7-2 in a 2-game sweep. They did it with just enough hitting. Carlos Correa getting things started with that home run swing, but they also did it with some very good defense. A big relay from Tucker to Correa to Maldonado to cut off that run at home plate, keeping runs off the board and locking in that win in that wild card series. Just the beginning of that 2020 playoffs where the Astros flipped that proverbial switch we keep talking about.
They did. They didn't play particularly well in Arlington to wrap up the regular season. They had a chance to have a 500 record, or even better if they would have swept that series against the Rangers, but they lost 2 out of 3, ended up 29-31. And the Astros would go into Minnesota and win both games and then take 3 out of 4 against the Oakland A's. Face this Tampa Bay Rays team in the ALCS after losing the first 3, winning games 4, 5, and 6 to force a 7th and deciding game to head to the World Series. Ji-Man Choi leading off in the 3rd inning, taking a strike. Choi has a double and a home run in the series against the Astros. Tries to hold up and he goes around, says Rob Drake. It's 1-2. Had the Astros not shown us what they did last year, maybe there'd be a little more concern going into this final 4 games the way they played lately, but you're right, there was no hint of what we were about to see in Minnesota based on how the regular season ended.
Yeah, that postseason did not match up at all with what the Astros are doing in the regular season.
Easy play for Bregman on 2 hops as he comes in and makes the throw on Choi, and that's 1 out in the 3rd. Lance continues to get a lot of ground ball outs.
It's kind of interesting how that 2-game series went. Also, Zach Greinke getting the start in game 1, backed up by Framber Valdez, who eventually got the win. And then Jose Urquidy starting game 2, and Christian Javier coming in relief and picking up that W. You imagine after the first 2 games of the division series, you might see something similar to that game 2. piggyback situation, or a form of that first or game one where you have just the starter go 4 or 5 clean innings and then backed up by a long man. There's a reason that Raley and some of those other guys are used in that game two, is just to clean up some of the traffic and allow the next pitcher, Christian Javier, to come in with nobody on base.
There will definitely be some options for Dusty Baker and Brent Strom to choose from. Dusty saying before the game they really haven't talked yet about the construction of the postseason roster, but the Astros hoping to have those conversations soon with a win tonight. Speaking of Zach Greinke, he's going to get a start for Sugarland Skeeters tonight, expected to throw 40 pitches in that outing. Counts 2-2 on Zunino. Lance so far of his 7 outs, 5 of them have been ground outs, 1 strikeout and 1 flyout. Another ground ball. This went to Correa on 2 hops. And Zunino, who gave Lance some trouble last year, grounds out for the 2nd out. For the most part, Lance has done well against Zunino in his career, but he got him in that playoff series. I'll bring up Joey Wendell. Wendell coming in at 271. Most of his numbers this year have come on the road, where he has batted .325 away from Tropicana Field. Strike called, and Wendell down to the count 0-2. Lance, high percentage of strikes early on, 24 of 35. Swing and a miss. McCullers strolls off the mound. He has gone through the lineup once perfectly through 3 innings. Picks up his 2nd strikeout.
Stuff looks good from Lance McCullers.
Nothing says Minute Maid Park quite like the Phillips 66 home run pump, and you can take one home tomorrow as the Astros take on the Oakland Athletics. 10,000 fans will receive a replica Phillips 66 home run pump courtesy of Phillips 66. Visit astros.com/promotions to get your tickets today. TK?
All right, Julia, the Oakland A's will be in town for the weekend. In fact, they're already in town. They flew in late last night after playing that series against the Mariners. I know Oakland was happy to see Seattle in the rearview mirror. The A's had lost 12 in a row to the M's, and in the process, Oakland had been eliminated from postseason play, while the Mariners are right in the mix. Not only still mathematically alive for the AL West, but only a half game back of Boston for that 2nd wild card spot in the AL. Boston playing tonight in Baltimore, as Martin Maldonado takes a strike from Ryan Yarbrough. Maldi, Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman here in the 3rd. But there is no plan B tonight. The Astros need a win. They do not have any other game to look forward to after their game is over. They need a W to clinch their 4th division title in 5 years. Yarbrough on for his 2nd inning of work, allowed a leadoff double to Kyle Tucker before getting Correa, Brantley, and Myers in order.
Just feels better tonight. Tampa, they clinched that #1 seed. They're settled down a little bit. The Astros have Lance McCullers Jr. out there for an opportunity to be that guy and be a part of that highlight reel when they show that clinching of the 2021 American League West.
Julia?
Well, to what you guys were talking about, Dusty Baker kind of put it frankly, saying it's just us tonight. It's our own score. We're not waiting on anybody else. We're not paying attention to anybody else. They would have preferred to do it a few days ago. Just wasn't meant to be. But yeah, there's no game on the out-of-town scoreboard tonight that anyone's focusing in on particularly. Maybe there is, but you know what I mean.
I hear you. Yeah, White Sox not playing tonight, and they're the other team that can impact the Astros in terms of who might have the 2 seed versus the 3 seed. So scoreboard watching out of curiosity, but not in terms of games that will impact the Astros directly. But yeah, a week ago the magic number was 3 after the game Wednesday, when Seattle had just wrapped up the first 3 games of that 4-game series in Oakland, and the Astros had won their first 3 games in Anaheim. But since then, the Astros have only won 1 game all week, while the Mariners have only lost 1 game all week themselves. Maldonado sends one into left field on a 2-2 pitch. That one's going to go to the wall. Maldi will put the brakes on as Austin Meadows gets it back in quickly. Leadoff base hit for Martin Maldonado.
Maldi cleared that cutter out of there nicely. Opened up that front side early and then brought the barrel through it, kept it fair. Pretty good piece of hitting.
Good to see that he's okay. Had to leave the game last night after that diving play and had a little shoulder issue with that left shoulder.
But at least he got to go up there, ice the shoulder, and watch the replay of that unbelievable catch he had. That was incredible.
Maybe the catch of the year for Maldonado. Here's Jose Altuve batting. Altuve takes one up and in from Yarbrough. Maldonado with the Astros' 3rd hit. Houston with a hit in every inning. An Alvarez single in the first, a Tucker double in the second, and now a Maldonado leadoff single here in the 3rd. Yarbrough, 2 starts and a relief appearance against the Astros in the regular season, and then last year in the playoffs. In that 7-game series, we saw Yarbrough 4 times, once as a starter and 3 times out of the pen. Altuve down to bunt. Yarbrough's going to have to hustle, bare hand throw, and he gets Altuve. That is an excellent play by Ryan Yarbrough. On the play, Maldonado moves to second.
That was extremely close. I'm with Jose. I thought he beat it. Laying down that drag bunt, deadened it beautifully and forced Yarbrough to come in and make that play. Doesn't look like the Astros are going to challenge that.
Wow.
Ooh, wow.
So close.
Incredibly close.
But the ball in the back of the glove looked like just before that foot came down. Crew chief Greg Gibson getting that one corrected, appears, by a sliver. As Kyle Snyder has a word with Yarbrough here before Alex Bregman bats. Pitching coach for Tampa Bay now jogs back. Well, Maldonado at second base with 1 out, and Alex Bregman will bat. Bregman, good numbers like Michael Brantley against Yarbrough, both of them 4 for 8. The difference is Bregman does have a regular season career home run against Ryan. Bregman had just missed a home run last night, looking for his 13th on the year and his 3rd in as many games. Want to know the count? Bregman hooks one foul. Got a little quick on that cutter, and the count was up at 1 apiece. Game number 159 for both teams. Astros have Oakland in town for the final 3 beginning tomorrow night. Tampa Bay will head to the Big Apple to take on the Yankees for 3 beginning tomorrow. Yankees playing Toronto tonight. Yankees currently the top wild card spot in the AL, and they're tied up at 1 early on in Toronto. these two teams can pitch very well, it's likely that one of these two teams will end up with the best offensive numbers in the major leagues in terms of runs scored. Tampa Bay started the night with 839 runs. Houston started with 837 runs. And with 4 games to go, nobody else really close. The next closest pursuer would be the aforementioned Toronto Blue Jays with 816. Top of the zone strike, it's 2-2.
Kind of interesting to watch Yarbrough throw. It's not that typical lefty who doesn't have the velocity. He still pitches up in the zone.
Zunino set up. This ball off the end of the bat. Choi's going to need to flip it to Yarbrough covering. They get Bregman on the play. Maldonado moves over to third.
Slider cutter that just never gets there. Yarbrough changes speeds on all of his pitches.
The timing is definitely thrown off. You can see Bregman trying to stay back, but it's tough. Here's Yordan Alvarez. Well, he hasn't had an RBI in a week now. But he's got a chance here if he can deliver with 2 outs with a runner on third. Yordan sitting at 101 on the season. Astros have had good crowds here for this 3-game series against Tampa Bay. Another good crowd gathering on a Thursday night. They had 32,000 plus on Tuesday, 28,000 plus last night. Trying to give their fans something to cheer about early with the AL West division on the line with a magic number of 1.
Wow. Mike Zunino's not adjusting his gear. He's having a conversation with Will Little after that last pitch. Pitch catches plenty of our MD Anderson strike zone. Gives Yordan the advantage in this count.
Drops in that breaking ball for a strike. 2-2. 72-mile-an-hour curveball. Astros have only had 1 lead in this series, and it came in the bottom half of the 9th inning Tuesday night when Jason Castro walked with the bases loaded to walk off a 4-3 victory. Yordan pops a foul near the stands. Wendell gives it a look, and he will run out of room 3 rows back. Yarbrough's out there, you get a lot of that, a lot of stuff off the end of the bat, like the Bregman squibber off the end of the bat foul. keeps hitters off the barrel for the most part.
Yeah, you mentioned the exit velocities against Yarbrough. A lot of it is the deception of the delivery. It's the ability to change speeds, add and subtract on all of his pitches. When you start to add and subtract, it starts to mess with the shape of the pitch.
And he gets Alvarez swinging for the final out of the inning. Yarbrough picks up his second strikeout. Astros leave a runner on third. We head to the fourth, still scoreless. Let's check out the T-Mobile coverage cam on this Thursday night outside of Minute Maid Park. Astros and the Rays wrapping up this three-game series tonight. Astros hoping to pop some champagne a little bit later on. Lance McCullers Jr. on the mound for the Astros. Lance, who grew up in the Tampa area, now calls Houston home. Facing the Tampa Bay Rays for the 7th time in his career. He has never pitched against Tampa Bay in those previous 6 outings here at Minute Maid Park. 4 starts down in St. Pete at Tropicana Field, and a couple of starts last year at Petco Park in San Diego, where the Astros and Rays played that neutral site ALCS. So Lance in his new hometown facing his old hometown team here in Houston for the first time. Brandon Lau, top of the order, leading things off. Takes a pitch outside for a ball. It's 2-0. Lance got Lau a ground out on the first pitch he saw in the first inning. This one little foul, long run for Bregman. He will not have time to catch up to that. Alex way around in the shift, closer to the shortstop spot. It's 2-1.
Yeah, the first time through the order was kind of fun to watch for Lance McCullers. 6 ground outs through that. We'll double check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Had 1 fly out. But yeah, it was fun to watch him go out there and do his work in the zone and get the contact on the ground. That's what makes him kind of fun to play behind, not just because you get a sense of what he's got and how good he is and you get to watch the strikeouts, throw the baseball around the horn, but you have a chance to stay on your toes and be fully engaged in the game because of contact.
With his 3 innings of work so far, he is now qualified for the American League ERA crown. 159 innings in game 159. He's got a 3.11, which is second to Robbie Ray. Second best in the AL. Coming into today, before Lance just qualified, there were only 15 pitchers in the American League that had enough innings to qualify for the ERA race. And part of that is coming off the pandemic shortened season last year. We didn't think we'd see a lot of heavy inning workloads, but that's still very few pitchers. That's 1 per team.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing to think about, isn't it?
It's 1 per team on average that has qualified with enough innings. You need 1 inning per team game played, and we mentioned Lance needs 5 2/3 tonight to qualify for the 162 game schedule. That's something that down the road, if they don't get more than 20 or 25 guys a year to qualify, they may need to drop that threshold a little bit, as things have changed now with starting pitchers going shorter and shorter every year. As Lance, frustrated with himself, makes sure he tells Will Little, I was not mad at you on that call. I was mad at myself for not throwing a strike there on 3-2.
First base run of the game. I think you bring up an interesting point. You know, the game is changing a little bit, and pitcher usage is changing quite a bit. I think they'll have to maybe see what happens next year after you get a full season in, and then back it up with the full season, because maybe some of these guys do get stretched out and they adjust to getting back into the normality of a 162 game schedule. Good Lord willing, they get through the CBA and we're able to start that season on time. But I think, you know, one more, if you see another year of only 15 to 20 guys qualifying, I think to your point, they do have to kind of adjust that number so you have more guys qualify.
If you dropped it to 150, for example, Lance would obviously be already in. A guy who's starting tomorrow for the White Sox, Lance Lynn, who's probably going to fall short of the 162 threshold, he'd be over that limit. Chris Bassett's another guy. There's a lot of guys in that 150 to 162 range.
And good pitchers.
Good pitchers who aren't qualified.
Yeah, and have good years, and you want to be able to recognize them.
But I agree. I think you need to give it one more year before you adjust off of this season, because there's not one American League pitcher that's going to end up with 200 innings this year.
Wow.
Jose Barrios is going to lead in innings, and he just pitched yesterday, and he's in the 180s. So something to look for, but Lance certainly wouldn't mind getting to 162 innings. And
well, how about the fact that he's setting career marks in innings pitched, games started, 2 years removed from Tommy John. I think that's a pretty impressive and good feat for him to kind of stand next to and say, I'm feeling pretty good and I feel like I'm getting back in shape to lead a rotation.
Lance really wanted that 2-1 pitch. Looked like he could have had that call to strike. Instead of 2-2, it's now 3-1. Lance only needed 36 pitches to get through 3 innings, facing the minimum first time around. Now the count goes full. McCullers has gone 6 innings in every start of the month of September, making the final start of the month. Last 3 starts, he's gone 102, 111, and 101 pitches. He is amongst the major league leaders in pitches per start. Lau is on the go, and he'll come back on that 3-2 foul ball. There's been a few games this year where Lance has gone 6, where it felt like early on he could have gone 7 or maybe even 8, but he ran into the one snag inning. Where every other inning was like 12 pitches, 13 pitches, and then he'll have one like 28 or 32. Just one inning seems to have caught him a little bit more often this year than I remember in the past. And he's got a battle here with Arozarena as Randy fouls off another 3-2 pitch.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Lau not running on that. I think with all the ground balls that Lance has gotten in this ball game so far, might be forcing Lau to be on the move, to also risk the strike him out, throw him out double play with the combination of Lance McCullers' stuff and the machete behind home plate.
Hey, he was on the move on the first 3-2 pitch, not on the last one. We'll see what happens here. He stays, and a swing and a miss. Big strikeout for McCullers, getting Arozarena. He wins that battle as he strikes him out for his 3rd strikeout of the night.
Nice bounce back after the walk to get that strikeout of Arozarena. Slider starting on that outer third, then busting off the plate, and Randy unable to hold up.
Bring up Wander Franco. Franco grounded out his first time up.
StatCast is powered by Google Cloud, and with Wander Franco up there left-handed, we're going to show you that he is heavy on that pull side. Again, these are the last 100 batted balls in play of 200 feet or less. Line drives and ground balls to that pull side.
Franco needed his final plate appearance on Tuesday to keep an on-base streak alive. It's now up to 43 games. He is currently tied for the most consecutive games on base as a 20-year-old or younger, matching Frank Robinson's feat in 1956. 1-1 the count here. Ground ball right side. Altuve will go to Correa for 1, and they have no chance with that long throw to get Wander Franco. So Correa just secured the ball at second.
Wander's got some pretty good wheels. Makes it look easy motoring down that first base line.
Tampa Bay as a team does not hit into many double plays. Here's Nelson Cruz. Just 68 double plays coming into the series, which was by far the fewest in the major leagues. Cruz takes a pitch outside for ball one. Cruz grounded out to Bregman his first time up. Rays with their lone base runner of this game. When Brandon Lau walked to start the inning, he's now been replaced by Wander Franco on a fielder's choice. And a called strike to Cruz. It's 1-1. Watching Lance work with Martin Maldonado, it appears like Lance feels good about his command with almost every pitch. You watch where Martin sets up and you watch where the ball's delivered. That one was missed up. Lance got under that one a little bit on 94. It's 2-1. Tampa Bay, #1 seed in the American League playoffs. They won their 98th game last night. That's a new franchise record. So they accomplished what they wanted to during this series. Certainly they have an incentive to try and get to 100 wins, but their main goal was to secure that #1 seed, which they did last night. Now it's 2-2 on Nelson Cruz. Franco trying to advance on a throw in the dirt. Safe at second base. Maldonado made a strong throw and a quick tag by Altuve, but ruled safe by Ryan Wills at second.
It's going to be a lot closer than you think. Wander Franco had a pretty good jump, but that throw gets him on the backside. I think Altuve got that down just in time. A little pat on the back, and he's going to go back to the dugout.
Yeah, the base does not move when that tag is made. Close call. Ryan Wills ruling him safe initially, but I think Maldonado is going to add to his assist total with that play when they review this in New York. Greg Gibson on the left. Ryan Wills, who made the call, on the right. Wills looks up at El Grande. Watch the bag move, and it'll be after the tag on the backside.
Great job by Altuve to let it travel and then drop it quickly.
I think this is the definitive look right here.
Yeah,
bag hasn't moved. Bag hasn't moved. Quick call. That means it's going to go the Astros' way. So Franco and Altuve share a word. Machete cuts down another runner to end the inning.
Check out the Astros team store in Union Station for all of the latest Astros gear, including Nike jerseys, hats, fishing shirts, tees, and more. Come during the day, or you can stop by the next time you're at a game. You can even call in an order for stadium side pickup. Visit astros.com/team store for more information. And there might be some new merch in there very soon. Hey, Yuli Gurriel up here, talking to him yesterday about a lot of things going on with this season, but also the opportunity to clinch, win that division title. He had such great perspective. He's older in age, but hasn't been in the league that long. He has been here for a while now, but he knows that you just have to enjoy every time you accomplish something in this game, knowing how special it is. He missed out on a lot of the years of wanting to play in the major leagues, obviously doing great things in Cuba, was dying to get over here and to be able to be a part of it, and he has here with some pretty great teams. But he said, I really want to just cherish all these moments and these division titles when we do get them. So he's excited for the opportunity, TK.
All right, Yuli Gurriel facing Yarbrough here. Has not faced Yarbrough, the only one in the lineup not to see the lefty out of the bullpen. Up to date live leaderboard for the AL batting crown with 4 games to go, including tonight. Toronto is is playing tonight, so we'll keep an eye on what Vlad Guerrero Jr. does against the New York Yankees. Counts 2-1 on Yuli. Yuli flied out to right field his first time up. He does have a career home run against Yarbrough. He has hit a 2-run home run against him in the regular season. And there's that changeup equalizer. It's 2-2. What would your approach be to a guy like Ryan Yarbrough?
If you're facing, especially this day and age, when you're facing guys on a daily basis that are throwing 95 plus miles an hour, sometimes you scoot a little bit further back in the box, and the same works in the opposite direction. If you're facing a guy that doesn't throw 95 and is kind of what we call thumbing, spinning the ball, changing speeds, like a guy like Yarbrough, you may push a little bit closer to him to create a little more velocity and get closer so that you have a little more of an opportunity to react instead of see the ball. Good to see Yuli getting that base hit and adding to that American League leading batting average. But you've got to make adjustments. Crowd the plate. Scoot up in the box. You know, there's other alterations you can make other than your swing or maybe changing your eye level, is changing your stance in the box. The one thing you have to be careful about, though, is the catcher's going to notice that too. And he's going to try and adjust his pitches or adjust his pitcher accordingly to where you're moving in the box. But to sit in the back of the box and get fooled by some of this stuff over and over isn't good.
When you're in that same spot basically the entire year until you see a guy like Yarbrough and then you change, does it feel different?
Oh, yeah.
Different or awkward?
It does, but you're doing it with purpose. You're not doing it just because I'm scuffling, I've got no chance.
Right.
You're doing it with purpose to try and create a similar situation. So as much as you do know you're in a different spot in the box, it may change the appearance of the pitch in your favor.
Tucker is the guy who greeted Yarbrough with some high exit velocity his first time up. Hit one over 100 miles an hour against Yarbrough. It's the hardest hit baseball of the night. This one fouled back, and Tucker behind in the count here, 0-2. Astros have had a leadoff runner on now in 3 consecutive innings. The Tucker double in the second, the Maldonado single last inning. And now Yuli with a leadoff hit here in the 4th.
Yeah, you'd really like to see the Astros string together some successful at-bats, create some traffic, wreak some havoc, put some pressure on the defense, and then eventually get that one big hit that opens things up. Kind of feels like the Astros offense is waiting for that one big swing to open it up, kind of take the edge off things.
It'd be nice to get a lead in this series. We mentioned the Astros haven't led except for that walk-off. They've had some traffic the last few innings, and Tucker takes a pitch off the plate. No chase there. It's 1-2.
Especially when you got a guy like Lance McCullers doing what he's doing tonight.
Lance has looked outstanding so far in this game. 4 shutout innings with only a walk issued as the lone base runner. Got in on Tuck as he fouls one away. The rare fastball from Ryan Yarbrough. Only Corbin Burns throws the fastball less than Ryan Yarbrough in the major leagues.
That guy's cutter mania.
Yarbrough throws that fastball 13.6% of the time. Tucker got one in on the hands there on that last 1-2 pitch. He tries to fool him with a changeup here. It's 2-2. Yarbrough, another guy that would qualify if the innings threshold was moved down to 150, but he won't get to the 162. This extended outing as the bulk guy should be his final outing, you would think, of the season going into the playoffs. Tuck stays alive, 2-2.
He is fighting to stay back on some of those pitches, but he actually is having a great at bat. Did a good job fighting off that 88-mile-an-hour two-seamer in, and then stayed on that pitch down and away.
changeup on the 1-2 pitch after he fouled off that fastball inside. Doesn't throw a lot of lefty-lefty changeups. Tucker broke his bat on that foul ball. So he'll get a new stick, but he has seen a lot of pitches in this AV against Yarbrough.
Last one was a curveball. And again, Tucker saw it pretty good. Put a good swing on it just off the end of the bat because Yarbrough was able to take off enough of velocity on that pitch to continue to keep hitters out in front.
'50th pitch out of the pen behind Colin McHugh's first inning for Yarbrough. And a good take there. Another changeup. So Tucker has seen lefty on lefty changeups here on a couple of pitches, and now the 9th pitch coming in this at bat.
Well, I think that gives you an idea of how Zunino and Yarbrough feel about this at bat from Kyle Tucker, that he's doing a good job of fighting off some tough pitches. So maybe they're going against the grain a little bit or against the book, throwing that changeup.
Off the plate. That's a great walk by Kyle Tucker. The Astros with their first 2 base runners on here in the 4th as Yuli will advance to second base.
A couple of very good at bats back to back. Yuli gets the benefit of the base hit to help his batting average, but that might be a big at bat by Kyle Tucker, getting Carlos Correa an opportunity with multiple base runners on. Yarbrough's given up 24 home runs this season, 22 of them to right-handed hitters. Just takes one.
24 home runs, a career high, most by any Tampa Bay pitcher. You need a guy to come through with a big hit. Carlos Correa might be your choice. He has come through time and time again. The Astros, after being shut out last night, looking to get on the board here. And Correa gets a first pitch changeup and misses it. It's 0-1.
So what? Swing and a miss. So what? Short-term memory, get back in that box, get ready to go, because Carlos has come up in some big situations. He'd be the right guy to do it with Lance McCullers on the mound. Podcast buddies, good friends.
Correa, high fly ball deep to left field. Carlos Correa! 3-run bomb, and the Astros out in front 3-0.
That is what I'm talking about. Big man in a big spot with a big swing.
The magic number down to 1, and number 1 just put a big swing to try and reduce that number.
That was the mistake they were looking for. Cement mixer. Crushed.
Correa got to enjoy that one for an extra beat at home plate as he hits one off the community leaderboards in left field. That's a new career high for Carlos. 25 home runs on the season now. And here's Michael Brantley, a line drive to right field, but coming on, Randy Arozarena puts it away. Brantley hits it hard, but he's out number 1. Congratulations to Correa for reaching 25 home runs for the first time in his career.
Yep. That's why he's the leader.
Home runs in 17 was his career high, but that has been eclipsed by this season with his 25th home run as Jake Myers and Michael Brantley go after first pitches coming off that home run. Myers flies out to center, and there's 2 away. The Astros didn't have anybody reach second base in last night's game until there were 2 outs in the 9th, and tonight they had a runner on second in the 2nd, a runner on third in the 3rd, and now 3 runs scoring in the 4th on the big blast by Carlos Correa. There's a lot of guys that like the moment. in that Astros dugout. You don't win 311 games over 3 years without guys contributing up and down the lineup. But there's not many guys who have contributed as often in moments as big as Carlos Correa. What was that? Maldi's thinking bunt with 2 outs.
It's going to shock the world.
He wants to put that into the scouting reports for the postseason.
Dusty said he put him out there in an extra inning game at second base for his wheels earlier in the year. Trying to show him off right there.
I see you, Maldi. One hopper to Wander Franco, who will make the play to retire Maldonado. But a big swing by Carlos Correa has the Astros out in front. Correa with his career high 25th home run. It's 3-0. Our best in Texas power pitcher is driven by Ford. Lance McCullers Jr. all the way back to 2015 against the Kansas City Royals has pitched very well here at Minute Maid Park throughout his career, including throwing that snapdragon curveball to the Yankees 20+ times in a row. You can see his totals: 18 innings, a 3 ERA. The opponent averaged 148, and the slug down to 230. Lance inside of Minute Maid Park, lethal in the postseason.
He's going to get some more opportunities this postseason to add to those totals. 46 2/3 innings pitched. Some crazy batting averages against in the postseason when you're facing some of the best lineups in baseball. Wow.
I mean, you see it time and time again, and you've played in it, where you get to that postseason, and even though the Astros have 837 runs and Tampa Bay has 839 runs, and they're probably going to finish 1-2 in some form in runs scored, you get to the postseason, all of a sudden it's 2-1, 3-2.
Oh, you're playing those grinders. And that's where that last inning for the Astros really begins to pay off, because you have those grinding at bats where you work the base hit. You have the 9-10 pitch at bat where you wear down the pitcher and get the walk, and then they eventually make a mistake to somebody behind you. But you're right, though. Those prolific scoring teams at 5.5 runs per game during the regular season all of a sudden turn into 3.5 runs per game because you're facing some of the best pitching.
You're facing some of the best pitching, and then you're not seeing a 4 or 5 starter. Even the starting pitchers are not going as deep as they normally go. You're going to matchups a lot earlier in games, and Lance should end up second at the end of this postseason, you would think, behind Justin Verlander. Yeah.
Yep.
Those are some great numbers across the board. Austin Meadows will bat here. There was I don't know if there was a tension, but there was like an angst, I guess, of wanting to try and close this out. And when that Carlos Correa home run left the ballpark, it's kind of everybody eased up a little bit in trying to stress
things
about.
Things loosened up a little bit.
Things loosened up. Yeah, it's a good way to. That 3-run home run trying to kind of let people exhale for a moment. Still a lot of work to go. We're only in the 5th inning. As Austin Meadows lines one foul down the right field line, it's 1-2.
No, but I think the fact that that moment found Carlos Correa and he stepped up in the bottom of the 4th inning kind of explains what you're talking about with that angst of, man, we just need that one big hit. We need that one big hit. It happened in the 4th inning, and we exhale in the 4th inning of a 9-inning game. There is plenty of work left, but you could definitely feel things loosen up a little bit with that big swing from Carlos.
There hasn't been a lead all series for the Astros until that walk-off in the 9th, and now they get one here in the 4th inning.
The Astros Foundation is hosting the Safe at Home Luncheon and Style Show presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas. Join us in Union Station October 1st for lunch and a style show by Tootsie's featuring Astros wives. Proceeds benefit the Astros Foundation and its domestic violence awareness efforts. For details, visit astros.com/safeathome.
That could be a big topic on the Walkout podcast hosted by Carlos Correa and Lance McCullers if they are able to combine to push the Astros in the postseason here in 2021.
Yeah, remember that time we took back the American League West title? Yeah, you pitched your tail off. Yeah, you hit that home run. I'd listen to that.
Two guys that have spent their entire careers together at the professional level, and they also go all the way back to a perfect game showcase when Carlos Correa and Lance McCullers were taking ground balls at shortstop.
That was one of the more fun interviews that I think you and I have actually had the opportunity to have. It's one thing just to talk to these guys on a normal basis, but they really opened up in that interview and took us back to a story that we didn't even know about. When Lance McCullers was playing shortstop and a young Carlos Correa wanted to throw it harder than that young Lance McCullers Jr. at shortstop. And all of a sudden it became a competition of power arms at short.
Lance fields that ball cleanly. He will underhand it to Yuli Gurriel. Lance halfway home with a 3-0 lead, has only allowed a walk so far through 5.
No Player Does More is presented by HEB. We're going to look at a player we'll see this inning, Yordan Alvarez. Remember that first year, came on the scene very strong, rookie of the year, only played a couple games in 2020, then putting a nice season together this year. So if we do his 162 game career average, 42 home runs, 129 RBI, 107 runs. Those are crazy numbers. The potential of Yordan Alvarez, and he's been a lot of fun to watch grow. And I remember Troy Snicker, the hitting coach, saying that there's another gear in there. I was hoping he was going to leg that out from my view, TK, but I remember Troy Snicker talking about how he had an extra gear in there. So hopefully maybe we haven't even seen the best of Yordan Alvarez.
There's another gear in there. You're talking about a potential MVP for sure. That was a great play by Brandon Lau.
Dang it. I thought that ball was going to sneak through, but that late dive and throw from Lau takes away what I thought was a for sure base hit. A little second on second crime.
Now Altuve has just been thrown out by less than half a step twice tonight, once on a bunt by Ryan Yarbrough, and that one on a great play by Lau. Here's Alex Bregman. Bregman takes that soft curveball for a strike. Top of the order, seeing Yarbrough for the second time around. Alex grounded out against Yarbrough his first time. He also flied to left against Colin McHugh in the first inning. Counts 1-1. Alex 1 for 9 in this series, but we were talking earlier in this series about the stroke looking good. This one bounced to the other side. Lau makes the play on 2 hops, and Alex retired for out number 2.
2019 was when Yordan blasted his way onto the scene, winning that Rookie of the Year. The ALDS against Tampa Bay did very good, 316, 824, and against New York they handled him extremely well, holding him to that 045 average in the OPS at 170. But fortunately for him and the Astros, he got into the World Series and really got that stroke back. So a little bit of a hiccup in there, but we talked so much about him being a force in that regular season with the consistency of putting up good numbers. He's also going to be a force in that postseason run for the Houston Astros, a big part of this middle part of the lineup.
Yeah, and depending on how Michael Brantley's knee recovers, that'll be interesting to watch in the postseason as well. Michael, coming back from that right knee injury, has been the DH twice so far, and Yordan's played left field twice. We saw Yordan play a lot more left field this year, 38 games including tonight, but we might see him play a little more outfield in the postseason.
Well, I think that's what's interesting too about winning that home field advantage against the Chicago White Sox with that number 2 seed. It puts more games, or the first 2 games at least here in Minute Maid Park, where Yordan can play some left field. Chicago's not a huge outfield, but it is bigger than Minute Maid Park. If you're trying to figure out coverage and when to play Yordan out there.
And most of those starts Dusty has given Yordan in left field have been with Lance McCullers Jr. or Fromber pitching.
That's the next level.
And those 2 guys should start 3 of your 5 games in the first round.
So that adds the potential to have Michael Brantley be the DH and keep Yordan out there in left field to protect Michael's knee.
Counts 2-2, and Jordan sends a high fly ball in the center field, playable for Manuel Margot, who puts it away. And Yarbrough has his first 1-2-3 inning out of the bullpen. Astros lead after 5, 3-0.
Here's the AT&T Fiber game summary for game 159. Lance McCullers Jr. on the mound as they try to clinch the division today. 5 very strong innings. See the 3 strikeouts here for him. Doing a really nice job. A lot of ground balls today. Also getting some help from his catcher Martin Maldonado, gunning down the runner at second there. Offensively, in the 4th, Yuli Gurriel led off that inning with a base hit. Kyle Tucker with a nice at bat. He walked, and then Carlos Correa crushing that baseball for a 3-run shot to give him a 3-0 lead. 25th on the season for Correa, new career high. But a few games to add to that total. TK?
6th inning baseball. Julia thanks. Ji-Man Choi leads off. Choi, Mike Zunino, and Joey Wendell. Lance has faced the minimum through 5. The only base runner, Brandon Lau, was replaced on a fielder's choice by Wander Franco, and then Franco was out trying to advance on a pitch in the dirt as the machete cut him down for the final out of the 4th. I thought you brought up an interesting point in our open before the first pitch tonight, in that, you know, here Lance is. He's still young. He's 27, but he has seen all those great pitchers before him, and now tonight it's kind of the perfect stage for him. Ground ball past Bregman into center field, and Choi has the first hit of the night. Not hit hard, but in between McCullers on the mound and Bregman, who was over in the ship. So this is kind of what you were talking about, Blummer. Dallas Keuchel was the daddy for a while. Now he's with the White Sox, and Charlie Morton had those great years, that couple great years. Garrett Cole and JV injured. All those key starters no longer around. It's the young guys who have filled a lot of the innings, but it's kind of Lance who has ascended to the veteran go-to guy, if you will.
Yeah, he was kind of in that learning mode behind Keuchel and Charlie Morton as a young pitcher, and then he transforms into that complementary, strong number 3 piece behind the Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander mix. And it's a little bit of the changing of the guard, and yeah, he's young at 27, but he's definitely pitched enough and has enough experience to be the guy. And I think that the stuff that Lance McCullers has, and maybe in talking to him, he wants to be the guy. And to be brutally honest, they need him to be the guy.
Especially with Zach injured lately, and struggling a little bit in the second half. This ball towards Altuve's left has a long way to go. He's going to try and go to second. Wow, Altuve took a chance there. He gets Ji-Man Choi called out by Ryan Wills. Choi believes he's safe. Altuve had an option to get the easy out at first on Zunino, but he chose to try and get the lead runner, and he gets him.
Snuck this one in there. Kind of surprised everybody going with the back door at second base. But a great job by Carlos Correa chasing him to second base and being available for that throw to beat Ji-Man Choi. The reaction of Carlos is great.
Get the out there. It was a lot closer than it would have been at first, but Altuve gets the lead runner. Here's Joey Wendell. But yeah,
keeps that double play in order.
Yeah, it does. But with Zach on the IL for a while now, tonight he pitched 2 innings in his rehab start at Sugar Land. You think about who might go in those first couple of games, and Lance has to be a lead candidate for your one starter. And then tonight for him to be on the mound for a potential clinch situation, it's kind of worked out perfectly, even though the Astros would have loved to have clinched a couple of days ago. But this could be a nice story for Lance making his final start of 2021.
It's all filling up that database of experience. This is an experience for Lance, pitching in a clinch situation.
He was able to close out an ALCS against the New York Yankees. Now trying to pitch the Astros into the postseason as division champs for the 4th time in 5 years. It happened one other time in franchise history. The Astros won 4 division titles in a 5-year span. The end of the Astrodome, and then that second year here at Minute Maid Park. Joey Wendell with a 1-2 count. And in 2-2. Carlos and Jose making sure they know if the ground ball comes to which side. This is what I'm doing with 3 men on the right side.
I try and model my marriage after their relationship. Communication's so good.
2-2 to Wendell. Swing and a miss. Lance McCullers picks up a strikeout. That's 4 for Lance and 2 outs here in the 6th inning.
Getting Wendell with a good curveball. So a couple of tough at bats against Lance McCullers, trying to pick up that curveball.
With that out, congrats to Lance McCullers. That's 162 innings for the first time in his career. When the Astros signed him to that 5-year extension, they knew that he had been limited by injuries. He had not had a chance to pitch a full season. This is his first year with 28 starts. And here he is, like Plummer said, not that far removed from Tommy John surgery. Shortened season last year and dialing it up for 28 starts at 162 innings with a 3.06 current ERA. Only Robbie Ray, a lower ERA in the American League this season. Pulls the string on Brandon Lau. Has a 1-1 count here with 2 outs in the 6th.
Doesn't use that changeup a lot, but when he does, it is pretty filthy with some of the movement and that change of pace. He seems to be using it in some key moments to get that swing and miss. And also throws it just enough to left-handed hitters to plant that seed of what if he throws me that changeup again.
Trying to double up on it. Missed the outside corners. 2-1.
See that lower half of Lau wanted to swing at it.
Tampa Bay picked up its first hit of the night. A little chopper off the bat of G-Man Troy that found its way into center field. Zunino now the runner on first after a fielder's choice. Ground ball foul. It's 2-2. The final line tonight on Zach Greinke in his rehab start with Sugarland. Zach goes, he was limited on his pitch count tonight to 40. He ended up throwing 34 pitches, went 2 innings, 1 hit, struck out 3. Didn't walk anybody.
Got 7 swings and misses in that outing. So good job by Zach. That's very promising.
So we'll see if that's it for Zach or if he gets maybe a relief appearance at the big league level before it's all said and done. We'll see how the Astros play it with 3 days to go after tonight. 2-2 to Lau. A little tapper foul. Mentioned Zach, or excuse me, we mentioned Lance has gone 6 innings in every start in September. I know he would like to go 7 tonight if possible. He's right now at 88 pitches. He gets through this batter right here. I imagine Dusty will be fine with sending him out for the 7th inning. He has looked outstanding tonight.
Yeah, and you talk about high leverage pitches. He really hasn't seen any.
That ball sent in the air deep to right field, hooking, and that ball is gone. Home run, Brandon Lau. A 2-run home run just down the right field line. Lau hit a 2-run home run last night, and tonight connects again. That's now 36 and his career best total in that category.
Lau has been on a tear. That is not a terrible pitch. He had to go down and get this thing. How he kept it fair, I have no idea.
Just off the outside of the foul pole. I mean, he barely got a piece of that foul pole, and it's now a 1-run game. Wow, you're right. Has been on a tear. That's 9 for 16 for him with 5 doubles and 2 home runs. Now here's Randy Arozarena. Rosarena has grounded out on a nice play by Correa and also struck out swinging. Lance has fallen behind 2-0. Gets a little regroup moments. Strolls behind the mound.
Yeah, I don't blame him. He made a pitch right there.
Well, he tried to frame it up, couldn't catch it cleanly, and now it's 3-0. Strike, drops in the slider at the knees, 3-1. First runs Tampa Bay has scored against Lance in his 2 starts this year against them. Went 7 shutout innings back on April 30th, and he was at 5 2/3 shutout before that Brandon Lau home run. Now a 3-2 count on a Rosarena.
He's battled back with a slider and a fastball. Go ahead and win it right here.
Just a piece to stay alive. Now Lance at 95 pitches, trying to work through the 6th inning. Broken bat punch shot. Yuli's going to give it a chance, but it'll fall in. The barrel of the bat completely separated from the handle of the bat as Randy Arozarena picks up a base hit with 2 outs.
It's back-to-back, pretty frustrating at bats. That pitch, its primary use is to get off the barrel, and that's exactly what he did. He got off the barrel and destroyed that piece of lumber. Again, the physics of baseball rearing its ugly head.
Rosarena carried that handle halfway up the line before discarding it. Nostrami with a word for Lance McCullers here. Lance was cruising along with a no-hitter through 5. Infield hit by Troy 2 batters later. 3 batters later, it was a home run by Lau on a pretty good pitch that was down in the zone that he went down and hooked off the right field foul pole for a 2-run home run. And now a complete barrel destruction and a base hit. See Rosarena finally discarding that handle of the bat 45 feet down the line. So here's Wander Franco. A couple of ground outs tonight. I'll be asking Will Little about that pitch. He's trying to work with Lance here, knowing Lance is approaching 100 pitches in this start. Astros get their bullpen up for the first time. Chopper towards the middle. Bregman will have to hurry, and safe at first base is Wander Franco. Bregman knew he had to hustle with Franco running down the line, and his throw not quite in time. Put runners on first and second with 2 outs.
Softly hit. Bregman charging in. Looked like a pretty quick catch and throw.
They're going to review this one. Oh, we're going to have another overturn.
I like it. You could see the surprise in Yuli after he caught that ball.
It would have been a 44-game on-base streak, but this is going to be a quick overturn from New York. Out at first base. They overturned the call on Wander Franco. Lance threw 6 innings. leading this game 3-2 as the Astros get that call overturned. Houston Astros baseball at AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Ford. Built Ford proud, built Ford tough. And by Rooms to Go. Get one-stop shopping plus decorating made easy. That's Rooms to Go. Bottom half of the 6th inning. Closer ball game now with that 2-run home run by Brandon Lau. It's a 3-2 game as Yuli Gurriel will lead things off. Yuli led off the 4th inning with a base hit against Yarbrough. He faces him for the 2nd time here. Yuli with that base hit, still sitting at 317. That's where he started the night.
That 3-run fourth started with Yuli in the box getting a base hit. Didn't mind seeing a repeat performance, but I believe that the Tampa Bay bullpen may have another idea when Carlos Correa comes up. Got their bullpen going.
Pete Fairbanks warming up. And Ryan Stanek warming up in the Astros bullpen with Lance at 98 pitches through 6. Yuli knew that was on the outside edge, started to head to the dugout. Yuli goes down looking on a breaking ball from Yarbrough.
In that 4th inning, it was a big walk by Kyle Tucker that allowed Carlos Correa to get up there and hit that 3-run home run. Tough left-on-left matchup with Yarbrough. A lot of pitches moving across the plate around 73, 74 miles an hour. But I like the fact that he was able to fight off a couple of those sinkers up and in and still able to cover that outside corner. Got a little quick on that curveball. Great take on a changeup down in, and that's what TK was talking about, how Yarbrough doesn't throw that pitch too often to lefties, but they were trying to create an opportunity to get Kyle Tucker out. They just couldn't find it.
Starts him off with that fastball in. And Tucker a double in that walk that you just showed against Yarbrough. Tucker was the first batter Ryan Yarbrough faced. This could very well be the last hitter for the lefty, as Blummer mentioned, with the righty warming up and Correa on deck. Counts 2-0.
They kind of feel Kevin Cash managing ahead a little bit, getting Fairbanks up and having him loose and ready in case that situation arose again where he had a couple of guys on. He didn't want to have Yarbrough facing Carlos Correa in that similar situation.
2-0 pitch is called a strike as Little said that curveball did hit the inside corner. It's 2-1. Two-one pitch hit hard center field. Margot on the move though and has room to make the play. We saw Manuel Margot make a great play earlier in this series, and he's one of the leaders in outs above average. As Tucker lines out for out number 2, Kevin Cash has come out of the dugout with the righty warming up, and Carlos Correa, who did the damage against Yarbrough, due up. We're going to get a pitching change here. 2 outs in the 6th inning. Yarbrough will leave with the Tampa Bay Rays trailing 3-2. As a way to say thank you for tuning in all season, we are giving away a Yordan Alvarez autographed baseball. Make sure you're following ATT Sportsnet SW on Twitter and Instagram for your chance to win. Contest ends soon, so enter to win today. Visit ATTSportsnet.com for official rules. 2 outs, nobody on. Rays go to their bullpen for Pete Fairbanks.
Fairbanks has worked quite a bit out of the bullpen for Kevin Cash. 45 games this season. He was thrown in 41 1/3 innings, has 53 strikeouts, 5 saves under his belt also. Tale of two cities, very good at home, not so good on the road. It's a big right arm.
Fairbanks throws the hardest of any of those bullpen arms. We saw Drew Rasmussen get a start yesterday, but of all the guys out of the pen, that average fastball, the firmest of any of the Rays relievers. There's a strike on the slider. It's 1-1.
StatCast powered by Google Cloud is going to show you that big 3-run home run for Carlos Correa, 102.6 off the bat. Pretty high launch angle. Sends it 357 feet into the Crawford boxes.
Ray went after that 98-mile-an-hour heater. Fairbanks misses down low, 2-2. Well, Fairbanks is a high leverage reliever normally, and Tampa Bay playing these games certainly to win, but they're also putting guys in as matchups here and there that might be a little different than you would see in the postseason. Maybe they want to see a Fairbanks matchup here with Correa. Instead of waiting for the possibility of an 8th or 9th inning matchup, they go to Fairbanks here in the 6th inning. Colin McHugh started the game, and then the bulk reliever Ryan Yarbrough went 4 2/3. Only the Correa 3-run home run doing the damage against Yarbrough. And Carlos takes a slider for a called 3rd strike. Ends up being a 1-2-3 inning between 2 pitchers. We head to the 7th. Ryan Stanek will be on in a 3-2 Astros lead.
Our Houston Methodist League leaders have the American League starter ERA. Lance McCullers getting 6 innings today, puts him in that qualifying position and puts him second behind Robbie Ray. 3.17 is what he came in with. 3.17 is what he goes out with. Just ahead of Garrett Cole, Frankie Montas on that list, and Jose Barrios. So a strong finish to the season for Lance McCullers Jr. in a big spot. Gave the Astros a huge start.
Yeah, that's a nice note for the end of the year for Lance McCullers. The chance to finish second in the AL in ERA as Ryan Stanek will now take over here in the 7th inning in a 1-run game.
New father Ryan Stanek back into the bullpen, and Dusty Baker going to him here in the 7th inning. 3.53 ERA. He has 81 strikeouts and that opponent batting average well below 200.
So we'll get Nelson Cruz to start. It'll be Cruz, Austin Meadows, and Manuel Margot. A 3-run home run by Carlos Correa and a 2-run home run by Brandon Lau, the scoring in this game, as the Astros lead 3-2. Colors through 98 pitches. That was the other frustrating part. Not only did Lau hit the home run, but had Lance been able to retire him, he was in the upper 80s in his pitch count and might have had a chance to pitch the 7th as well.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And it wasn't a terrible pitch. Just
no, it was down below the zone. You could see the lower half of Brandon Lau kind of bailed a little bit, so he kind of buckled him. It was just a better job of keeping the hands back by Lau to be able to keep that ball fair.
Cruz trying to hold up. He goes around. It's 1-2. Ryan Stanek, Phil Maton, a couple of guys who last year got to pitch in the postseason when Stanek's team, the Miami Marlins, able to qualify with that 8-team playoff in the National League. And Stanek pitched in that second series after the Marlins took care of the Cubs. They played in that second round against Atlanta. And Stanek pitched in that series, but he's never pitched in a postseason atmosphere with crowds before. So I'm sure he is looking forward to that, as there's a strikeout getting Nelson Cruz for out number 1.
It's a slider that backed up big time.
Maton the same way. He pitched last year in the pandemic playoffs, again with no crowd. So for those two guys, looking to celebrate tonight, but also looking forward to pitching in the playoffs with crowds. Kendall Graveman has never pitched in the postseason. Veteran, active again tonight for the Astros. We might see Kendall Graveman in the 8th inning, as he is just off the paternity list. His Astros got 4 solid innings last night out of Peter Solomon and had to option him to AAA Sugarland, but Solomon saved the rest of the bullpen for tonight and the weekend against the A's. It's kind of that thankless role that means a lot more, even though your team loses 7-0. Solomon did a great job of helping the team to a win down the road.
Yeah, that's an unsung hero. He's had 3 outings just like that for the Astros, where he's eaten up 3-4 innings to be able to give the rest of the guys in the bullpen a night off in a tough situation. And his congratulations is a car ride down to Sugarland, unfortunately.
I've seen some barrels fly in the last couple of innings.
Some destruction going on.
Meadows will dig back in against his former teammates. Stanek and Meadows teammates in 2018 and then part of 2019 before Stanek was traded from Tampa Bay to Miami. Upstairs 2-2. Stanek, who started his career with the Rays organization, drafted in the 2013 draft, pitching against his original organization for the first time in his career. Two and two the count. JP Byereisen warming up in the Tampa Bay bullpen. It's possible Fairbanks was on just to try and get through that 6th inning, and his night might be over. Line drive by Meadows will get down for a hit. Sharp single to center off the bat of Austin Meadows. He'll be a 1-out base runner here in the 7th inning.
I always feel like it's a little bit easier to get to that firm fastball down. It's elevated just a touch around mid-thigh, end up getting jammed.
Brett Phillips will be on as a pinch runner for Austin Meadows, and Phillips will undoubtedly stay in the game defensively. Here's Manuel Margot 0 for 2 tonight. Phillips a pretty good lead over at first. Margot misses a slider 0-1. Astros a 3-run fourth. Rays scored 2 in the 6th. Lance McCullers outstanding tonight. 3 hits, 1 walk in 6 innings of work. Allowed just that 2-run home run to Lau. Stanek gets ahead 0-2. Brooks Raley warming up in the pen. G-Man Choi is due up next, and Joey Wendell 3 away. Ground ball towards the middle. Correa will glove to Tuve, bare hand, and safe at first base. They almost made a spectacular turn, but they get the force out on Phillips for out number 2.
Great effort. Saw a glove flip earlier in this series go awry from Brandon Lau, the second baseman for the Tampa Bay Rays, but this is beautifully done by Carlos. Under control, a great flip and feed. So good that it allowed Altuve to go at it with the bare hand. Try and speed that double play up, and almost got Margot.
They reversed the process. Usually a throw into the glove. But he flipped it with the glove, and Tuve bare-handed it, and now G-Man Choi will bat. Choi 1 for 2, had the first hit of the night for Tampa Bay. A little ground ball single into center field to lead off the last inning. The Houston Open Concert Series hits the stage November 12th and 13th. Spend the day at Memorial Park Golf Course, then head to Minute Maid Park for the inaugural Houston Open Concert Series featuring Jake Ogan and Kygo. For details and to get your tickets, visit HoustonOpenGolf.com/Big Show Concert Series. Big swing, no contact at 98. It's 1-1.
Blew the helmet off G-Man Choi with that heater. Pop.
Fastball up, it's 2-1. Stanek missed some time on the paternity list, becoming a dad for the first time. Kendall Graveman just reactivated off the paternity list. So the Astros have had a little bit of a stagger start with the last few innings without Stanek and then Graveman for a few games each. But now they're all active here for the final 4 games. Fly ball left field. Yordan Alvarez near the wall will ease up, and he will put it away for the final out of the inning. G-Man Choi flies out to left. Ryan Stanek a shutout 7th inning stretch time at Minute Maid Park. It is 3-2 Astros. AT&T Sportsnet and Tequila Herradura celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. Jose Cruz has been a Houston icon for nearly 50 years. The pride of Arroyo, Puerto Rico, was traded to the Astros from St. Louis in 1974 for $25,000 and immediately became one of the best investments in Astros history, playing 13 seasons. Cheo's son, Jose Cruz Jr., had a 12-year MLB career in which he hit over 200 home runs. Cheo coached his son for his native Puerto Rico in the 2006 World Baseball Classic and was inducted into the Hispanic Heritage Baseball Hall of Fame in 2002. Bottom half of the 7th inning, one-run contest. Astros leading the Rays, and a new pitcher for Tampa Bay taking over here in the 7th is J.P. Feyereisen.
Feyereisen averaging 94 on his fastball. Sorry, 93 miles an hour on his fastball. Between Milwaukee and Tampa, 2.68 ERA. Also has a changeup and a slider. Astros looking to add a couple more runs.
Defensive changes for Tampa Bay as they shift their outfield around. Randy Arozarena moves from right field to left field. Austin Meadows was pinch run for. Manuel Margot moves from center to right, and Brett Phillips takes over in center field. Brantley fouls one towards the crowd and out of play. Michael looking for his first hit since coming back from the IL. He is 0 for 2 tonight and 0 for 6 in this series. Brantley hit the ball hard his last time up, but lined out to right. Feyereisen does not get that call on the corner. Instead, it's 2-1. We saw the other piece to the puzzle yesterday in that Willy Adames trade with Drew Rasmussen getting the start. Feyereisen also coming over in that trade from the Brewers. And Brantley hooks one, but into the crowd. It's 2-2. Astros 3 runs on 5 hits. They had all 5 of their hits in the first 4 innings. Ryan Yarbrough retired the final 8 he faced, and then Pete Fairbanks struck out the lone batter he faced, getting Carlos Correa looking to end the 6th inning. There's a ground ball base hit. Welcome back, Uncle Mike. Took a few at bats coming off the IL, but Brantley with a single into left field. Leadoff base runner here in the 7th.
The penultimate regular season game of 2021 is Saturday, and 10,000 fans will receive an Alex Bregman replica white jersey courtesy of HEB. Visit Astros.com/promotions to get your tickets.
Brantley getting a chance to run the bases for the first time since coming back from that right knee injury. And here's Jake Myers. Myers has flied out to center field a couple of times. Takes a strike. Jake had a great season at AAA Sugarland this year. 68 games, an OPS over 1,000. Big league level batting .252 coming in with 5 home runs. 25 runs batted in. Doesn't chase that pitch up. It's 1-1. Fouls that one back to the screen. Lummer and Julia talked about it right before the game started. Dusty Baker, some decisions to make. First, he wants to get his team in the postseason and set a major league mark to become the first manager ever to manage 5 teams to a division title. And then he's got some decisions to make as to who might get some playing time in center field, with Myers, McCormick, and Siri all splitting time here over the last few weeks.
Having some pretty good swings in this at bat against the right-hander, but you've got to find some consistency and get some consistent at bats. It's a tough situation when you're getting ABs every other day. So young center fielders trying to fight through it and gain the opportunity to get a playoff start.
Good take there on a pitch down and away, and the count goes full.
I would imagine it's got to be a defensive idea first. Who's going to be able to track down some fly balls and some tough situations? Who's going to be able to hit that cutoff guy? Who's going to be able to keep that runner at first base to keep the double plays in order? Some of the fundamental parts of the game, not allowing the extra 90 feet to keep your ball club in the game and allow them the opportunity to get out of some jams and then have those quality at bats.
Foul tip caught by Zunino. Take Myers down for the first out. First strikeout for JP Feyereisen.
The only reason I say that is because this lineup is so deep that the expectation of having one of these young hitters be a specific piece or a contributor in this lineup isn't necessary. They can have that complimentary moment where they do have that big at bat, but they don't have to be relied on because there's so many other guys in this lineup that are going to be doing damage.
Yeah, I think that's the thought for sure. I mean, even with a Martin Maldonado, what he gives you defensively is so elite.
Yep.
Whatever he can contribute on the offensive end, they look at it as a bonus. But for the conversation that we had earlier, if there is a potential for a Yordan Alvarez to play left field, say in Chicago where he's got more ground to cover, then your center fielder becomes even that much more important.
And it's going to be a tough environment. Who's going to be able to keep their poise running around the outfield, as you've got fans bearing down on you in high leverage situations and still be able to make that play.
Maldonado takes a strike, finds himself down in the count 0-2. Feyereisen pitched a couple of seasons with the Brewers, last year for the first time, and then 21 games this year before he was traded. He was traded in late May. It wasn't a trade deadline deal between the Brewers and the Tampa Bay Rays. They needed to make some space early on. And it wasn't even initially Wander Franco who got called up. They were thinking along the way that they were going to bring Franco up. But initially it was Taylor Walls who was playing shortstop after the trade of Willie Adames. Two and two the count. Kendall Graveman, who was just activated today off the paternity list, is warming up in the Astros bullpen. Dusty has not had an opportunity to go Stanek, Graveman, Presley in a while, but he might have that opportunity tonight. There you see Kendall loosening up. plate. Ooh, that's a call. It's a delayed call. Little gives those delayed strike calls. Maldi thought that was off the plate. Instead, it's strikeout number 2.
I think Maldi showed a pretty good eye right there. Didn't get the call going his way, though. Tough in a 2-strike count.
Now to bring up Jose Altuve. Tampa Bay has pitched Altuve tough, and they've also played good defense with Altuve at the plate. Altuve tonight has had a great play by Ryan Yarbrough on a bunt where he barehanded him and threw out Altuve, and then Brandon Lau made a great diving catch on a ground ball up the middle and was able to throw out Altuve last time up. So Jose 0 for 3 tonight, 2 for 22 on the season against Tampa Bay. Altuve swings and pops one foul. Zunino can't find it, but it's going to be back in the crowd. Tampa Bay not only locked up the #1 seed with their 98th win last night, they did so in a division that could produce 3 teams in the postseason. But in a game in a series in Baltimore that the Red Sox expected to possibly sweep the Orioles, they might end up losing a series in Baltimore as the O's lead tonight 6-2 heading to the 9th.
Unreal. They beat Chris Sale in that first game.
They beat Sale in that first game. Evaldi came back to pitch last night, and the Red Sox won that one. But
so if Boston loses that game, what does that mean, TK?
If Boston loses that game, that means Seattle is tied for the second wild card spot.
Tied. They have played all the way back to a tie in that wild card.
Unbelievable. Seattle can control their own destiny if the Red Sox lose tonight. They were the 3rd place team a week ago heading into Oakland and trailing the A's by a couple of games for 2nd place. And now the A's, who are in town in Houston already, have already been eliminated from the postseason. And Seattle has a chance to be tied with Boston for the 2nd wild card spot. Yankees are leading Toronto 5-2 in the bottom of the 7th. If the Blue Jays lose that, they'll be a game behind both Seattle and Boston if Boston doesn't come back from down 4.
Robbie Ray was pitching in that game, I believe.
He was. He did pitch 5 1/3 innings. He gave up 5 runs tonight.
Oh, wow.
Altuve sends one to right field. Margot backs up a few feet and has room, put it away for the final out of the inning. 1 hit, 1 man left on base. We head to the 8th. It's a tight one tonight. Houston 3, Tampa Bay 2.
Stay connected with the Astros all season long by following AT&T Sportsnet on social media for game highlights, player interviews, and giveaways. Find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for the latest on the Astros all season long. Astros continuing to go to their bullpen tonight, a fully rested bullpen. Brent Strom, the pitching coach, wanted to give a lot of credit to Peter Solomon and the job he's done really all this season every time he's been called up, but really helping out last night. Doing what he did for the club goes a long way here at the end of the regular season. These last 4 days, Stromey said a loss is a loss, but for the bullpen yesterday, that was a win. TK.
Yeah, having nobody get up to warm up other than Solomon, who went those 4 innings behind Luis Garcia, who pitched 5. That was definitely a beautiful thing to see. And now Kendall Graveman is back. Hadn't seen him in a few days. First pitch is a fastball in on Zunino that hits him. And just like that, the tying run is on base.
I don't think that's how Kendall Graveman envisioned getting back on the bump. He's got that 2-seamer. It'll run, but he was trying to get to that inside corner. That just took off, and Zunino wore it.
So we'll get a pinch runner for Mike Zunino as Kevin Kiermaier will come out to run. Now the batter, Joey Wendell. Wendell takes one off the plate for ball one.
See if Wendell gives Kiermaier a couple of pitches. Try to steal that bag. Doesn't have that big of a lead. Wendell's a guy that can handle the bat pretty good, but he's got a couple of strikeouts in this game so far. Both of those coming against Lance McCullers.
Into center field, playable for Jake Myers. Myers lines it up after moving to his right. Out number one here in the eighth.
The game stats are driven by the DeMontron Auto Group. In this ball game to this point, Colin McHugh starting it. Yarbrough, the bulk guy, going 4 2/3. Big swing of the day for them was from a guy at the plate right now. A 2-run home run in the 6th. The Astros previously had that 3-run home run from Carlos Correa, who backed up his good friend Lance McCullers Jr., who had an excellent outing, going 6 innings.
Now here's Brandon Lau. Lau accounting for both runs for Tampa Bay with a 2-run home run his last time up. Lau as hot as anybody in baseball lately. 9 for his last 16, 5 doubles and 2 home runs. Other than Nelson Cruz in this lineup, not a lot of at bats against Graveman, although the one time Brandon Lau faced Graveman, he did hit a solo home run. Misses that fastball up. It's 1-1. Not a lot of drama last night with Tampa Bay shutting down the Astros offense, but first game in this game, feel like a little bit what we might be seeing here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, get used to this, huh?
Feels like playoff baseball.
It does.
Foul tip in and out of the glove of Martin Maldonado. So Lau just barely stays alive.
Just rattled around enough.
Game's over in Baltimore. The Red Sox go into Baltimore and lose 2 out of 3. then head to Washington to take on the Nationals, but they have fallen back into a tie with Seattle for that second American League wild card with 3 games to go. There goes Kiermaier. Swing and a miss. The throw by Maldonado on the money. Out at second base. Big fist pump by Maldi as he guns down his 18th runner of the year.
This is why he's back there. That defense is phenomenal. Catch, throw, machete.
Time to share the results from today's Chevy Stroh poll. Thank you, everyone, for following ATT Sportsnet SW on Twitter. Which team has been the biggest surprise this season, good or bad? Well, not everyone, but half. A lot of votes around, actually. That's actually kind of surprised me. San Francisco Giants, 104 wins, I believe, is what they're sitting on right now, TK?
Yep. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Yeah, they've got a 2-game lead, Julia, over the Dodgers. They have 104 wins, and the Dodgers have 102. The Dodgers, Blubber, 40-13 in their last 53 games.
It's not good enough.
They could have gained 1 game.
It's not good enough. You're going to have to play better.
Padres yesterday had a 9-5 lead on the Dodgers late, and the Dodgers just blitzed them. The Padres have gone from 32-18 to 46-62 the rest of the way, including an 11-31 mark since August 10th.
Yeah, that's not going to make the person signing the checks very happy over there in San Diego.
But San Francisco and LA both play tonight. The Giants wrap up their series with Arizona, and the Dodgers wrap up their series with the Padres. Still a 2-game lead with the 2 best records in all of baseball. Here we go. Bottom of the 8th inning. Alex Bregman hooks one deep enough but foul. We've said that before in this series. Bregman 0 for 3 tonight.
Yeah, guys in the dugout are starting to yell, straighten it out. He has taken some good swings. It's just been a click too fast.
Alex has flied out and grounded out a couple of times. Pitch is a called strike. New pitcher on the mound for the Rays is the right-hander Matt Whistler.
Whistler's thrown in 46 2/3 innings, has 60 strikeouts. Just coming off the injured list.
Popped up on the infield. G-Man Choi puts it away for out number 1.
Legends of the Game is presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield. End of an era. Craig Biggio's farewell on September 30th of 2007. He had 3,060th hit. Tough to say goodbye to such a great ball player. Giving the fans the respect after watching him play in that Astro uniform for a good 20 years. Hall of Famer Craig Biggio.
Here's Yordan Alvarez taking a pitch off the plate for ball 1. Astros would love to get a little bit of an insurance run or 2 here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Tampa Bay will have their 2, 3, and 4 hitters due up in the 9th. Ryan Presley is warming up in the Astros bullpen as Ryan Stanek pitched the 7th, worked around a base hit. Kendall Graveman pitched the 8th, worked around a hit by pitch, his first pitch of the inning. Martin Maldonado threw out the runner. This ball is going to be down for a base hit. Yordan Alvarez, not his classic exit velocity hits tonight, but he'll take a 2 for 4 night.
Those are knocks, and they count no matter how hard they're hit. Yordan will take a couple of those. It's actually kind of funny. Threw a couple of hand grenades out there today.
And Yordan's night is over. Chaz McCormick will come on as a pinch runner and stay in the game defensively for the Astros as Yuli Gurriel will bat. As Yuli takes one down and away. Yuli 1 for 3 tonight. has that league leading average sitting at 317. He has had 8 multi-hit games in his last 16 contests. As he pops this one into right field. Margot puts it away for out number 2. Vote Alex Bregman for the 2021 Roberto Clemente Award, which recognizes players who best represent the game through positive contributions on and off the field. Vote today at MLB.com/Clemente21. Kyle Tucker has hit the ball hard tonight. A double into right center field, his first time up against Ryan Yarbrough. Hardest hit baseball tonight against Yarbrough. Then he walked and lined out his last time. Tuck now with 37 doubles. Astros will love to see him get number 38 right here, or number 29 in the home run column. Francisco Mejia, by the way, is a new catcher. He just smothered that last pitch. He took over for Zunino this inning as Zunino was pinch run for in the top half of the 8th. Season where Kyle Tucker has hit as well as anybody in the American League since the 1st of May. You could somehow cancel that first month of stats. Tucker would be right there with Shohei and Vlad Guerrero Jr. as he pops one foul. Long run for Wendell, still hustling, and what a play by Joey Wendell. An amazing catch in foul territory as he picked it right before it got to the ground for the final out of the inning. Houston Astros baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is presented by Crawford Bock, always in season, Carbach Brewing, and by Toyota. Let's go places.
Tonight's fan cam is driven by GulloAuto.com, and the fans are enjoying Martin Maldonado and his work behind home plate. Cutting down runners throughout the course of the season, showing some range from behind home plate. He's really shown his worth in this series, removing base runners from the base paths with that strong arm. Getting some help on that receiving side with some of the catches and tags. His own version of the strike him out, throw him out double play, and the enthusiasm in getting that inning-ending double play. Martin Maldonado. Been a wizard behind home plate.
He is such a difference maker behind the plate, as the Astros will have a 1-run lead in the 9th inning with a magic number of 1, and Ryan Presley facing the 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Randy Arozarena leads off. First pitch strike, dots him up on a slider. Arozarena 1 for 3 with a single into right. Arozarena, Wander Franco, Nelson Cruz. Close, just a little bit up, maybe off the plate, 3-1. Upstairs, ball 4, so Presley walks a leadoff runner here in the 9th inning. He represents a tie game. Don't forget, coming up after our game, it'll be the Astros post-game show presented by Whataburger. Hopefully you won't want to miss this one, as there will be some celebrating for the Astros post-game. They can wrap up this American League West Division title. Kevin Eschenfelder and Brian Bogusevic will have all the highlights, the post-game reaction. Hopefully a clubhouse going crazy here for the Astros. Here's Wander Franco. Strike. Presley throws a higher percentage of strikes than anybody else coming out of the bullpen. An initial walk on 5 pitches to Arozarena, surprising.
It's the quality of strike, too, from Ryan Presley. He can do it with the fastball, curveball, and that slider that he has.
Upstairs, 1-1. Franco has not reached base tonight. He's 0 for 3. Has a 43-game streak on the line. Ground ball. Altuve will charge, and he fumbles it. Everybody's safe on a chopper to second. Altuve was trying to hurry to get the force at second. Instead, it'll be runners at first and second with nobody out.
No, you're exactly right. He was trying to get a little too quick to make sure he got that lead runner, Arozarena. This was not the intent to turn a double play. This was the intent to make sure that he got the lead runner. It popped out the top of the glove and will result in an error and a couple of base runners on.
I'll bring up Nelson Cruz. Cruz acquired from the Minnesota Twins. The Rays have scored more runs in the American League since the acquisition of Cruz. That one misses the outside edge. A walk and an error. Tying run on second, go ahead run on first. Ground ball sharply hit. Gurriel to second for 1. Altuve the relay throw. Presley covers, double play. Gurriel to Altuve to Presley for a huge double play.
Just your standard 3-4-1 double play. You don't see too many of those too often. But Yuli did a great job being in the right spot to knock down that hard hit ground ball. Gave Altuve a great feed, and with the runner being Nelson Cruz, Altuve had the opportunity to turn that with Ryan Presley covering.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Houston Astros and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Houston Astros. We didn't know if Yandy Diaz would be available tonight. He injured his lat in the game on Tuesday, but he is going to come off the bench here and pinch hit for Brett Phillips, facing Ryan Presley with 2 outs and the tying run on third base. Strike call. 31-608. Not a person sitting down. Over 90,000 for this 3-game series against Tampa Bay, and they are looking for a division crown. No swing, 1-1. Rosarena on third base, 2 outs. Strike 2. Having fun, Blummer?
TK, I know I'm a little bit quiet, but it's just because I've got my head out the window enjoying every fan on their feet, because these moments are special. I'm enjoying every second of this.
Three-run home run by Carlos Correa in the 4th inning. 2-run home run by Brandon Lau in the 6th inning. That's where we are. 3-2, 9th inning. 2 strikes, 2 outs with a runner on third. Count goes full. Manuel Margot waits on deck if Yandy Diaz reaches. Ground ball, Bregman on 2 hops. Low throw, picked by Yuli, division winners. The golden era of Astros baseball continues. A 4th division title in 5 years.
The crown is back where it belongs. Deep in the heart.
How fitting for Yuli to pick a throw to give them a division championship.
Just add it to the ledger, the great season that Yuli Gurriela's had.
He started that big double play, and then he scoops probably his 100th scoop of the year. He's got about 30 more than anybody else at first base. Lance McCullers gets the win. Ryan Presley the save. The formula of Stanek to Graveman to Presley getting the job done. There were some base runners late, but they came through when necessary.
That's what good teams do, is they win. The Astros fought through a long season. Had a great run last season, but didn't have it as the American League Western Division champions. Now they get that title back 4 out of the last 5 years. That title has belonged to the Houston Astros. And that sounds like a lot, but you've got to embrace every opportunity you get to win a title. As we relive the final out, that ground ball to the left of Alex Bregman. Short hop to Yuli Gurriel, who scoops it and says, "No worries, boys. Title's in my glove."
The best season of his career at age 37. Yuli Gurriel could win a batting title and a Gold Glove in 2021 as Presley enjoys the moment.
You have to.
And
his veteran explode with joy, and the youngsters get to get in on the action this year.
That is 93 wins for the Astros, who have now won 4 division titles in the last 4 full seasons and averaged 101 wins per year in winning those 4 division titles. The stage was set tonight for Lance McCullers Jr. You mentioned it before the game. Lance was brilliant tonight in a clinch situation. And Julie is standing by with tonight's starter.
I'm with Lance McCullers Jr. I'd soak it in for a second. I know the crowd's going nuts for you guys right now. Just being able to do this in front of your home fans. You had an opportunity today to come out and get this win, a big win. How does this all feel?
It means a lot to us. Winning your division is not easy. I know that we've been very, very fortunate to have great teams over the last few years, and we've won our division many times. But it's a dogfight, and it takes good baseball. From game 1, to game, to today. So the Rays are a great team. It's great to get 2 wins over someone that we're expecting, to possibly face in the playoffs. So team did a great job. Maldi with a super gutsy performance with how things yesterday with the pop-up, and then Carlos just signature moment always does for us. And Presley bullpen, just amazing job.
I was about to say it was almost fitting the way this played out with all those who contributed to this win. This group, you finish on top. But I know it wasn't easy all season long with all that you guys have been through. So what does it say about this club that you did finish on top and you have some unfinished business here?
We have a great group of guys here. We have a good core. We understand that we got a lot of love here in Houston, and we feel that love no matter where we go. And we just played good baseball consistently throughout the year. We're looking forward to rolling into the postseason.
4th division title in 5 years. Go get in your picture, Lance.
All right.
CK.
Julia, thanks. What a moment. Lance, as you said, kind of in that role now as he's taken the baton, and he delivered tonight.
No, you got to recognize the moment, and Lance has been here long enough to understand that this is his time. He's done a phenomenal job of working himself into that rotation, becoming a mainstay and becoming a guy that they count on. And it just so happens the way that this season has unfolded that it put the Astros on their own turf with their biggest pitcher in the biggest moment to go out there and clinch that game. It wasn't pretty getting to this point, but it sure is pretty as you see all the smiles.
Lance, 5 no-hit innings before just allowing that 1 home run to Brandon Lau. And it was a 3-2 game at that point, and it would finish at a 3-2 game. We'll have plenty coming up. You won't want to miss all the celebrations as the Astros are 2021 AL West Division champions.